When the novel coronavirus had its earliest cases in late 2019 in the city of Wuhan, Hubei province, local authorities had a few indecisive moments about how to act. For there was no medical records of the virus, let alone any cure for the sickness. Relevant information was not disclosed to the public. However, once there were more cases spotted and the signs of an epidemic started to show, the government of China immediately responded. By citing regulations of public health, Wuhan and the entire Hubei province were in lockdowns. The government's action bought more time and slowed down the epidemic.
The opinion of the joint mission, after looking at this very, very closely and in different ways, that there's no question that China's bold approach to the rapid spread of this new respiratory pathogen has changed the course of what was a rapidly escalating and continues to be deadly epidemic.
Some Western media call China's fight against the novel coronavirus being a success of authoritarianism. They're trying to convince people that to contain the outbreak, a government must also be authoritarian. According to Cambridge Dictionary, authoritarianism is a belief that people must obey completely and not be allowed freedom to act as they wish. Well, in China's fight against coronavirus in 2020, I have been seeing actions taken by the government sticking to the rule of law. With no prior knowledge of the COVID-19 coronavirus, the government of China, from central leaders to local authorities, has been greatly cautious in taking emergent actions. The world lost 919 people due to SARS outbreak in 2003. In China's mainland, where the coronavirus hit the hardest, more than 5,300 people were infected, and 349 died. China had learned the lesson with very expensive costs. The next year, China's national legislature, National People's Congress, amended the law on prevention and control of infectious disease, a law that was passed by China's legislators in 1989 in order for the government to respond quickly to events or accidents such as SARS coronavirus outbreak. According to an interview of then China's Deputy Minister of Health, Mr. Gao Qiang, he stated that since the prevention law was passed in 1989, agencies of disease control in China had not been functioned consistently in defending people's health and put epidemics under control. Due to poorly funded equipment and staff, many of these disease control units had to seek profitable opportunities to operate. Not only SARS, this also resulted in China's HIV-infected patients reached 840,000 by 2003. After the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic, the revision and improvement of laws such as wildlife protection law has become a public concern. But the government of China has ever since been working on acquiring professional advice to improve China's legal institutions. Some Western journalists partially enlarged the sufferings of the early stages of the outbreak by hiding nearly 1 billion people's effort in fighting against the coronavirus. They did not mention the rule of law in China and our respect for it. Instead, they claimed the only thing the government of China does well was information cover-ups. But the China's legal institutions have been working non-stop to put the nation back to work. The coronavirus outbreak puts up tests to a country's state capacity and the efficiency of a government. It is not a debate about the types of governments, but a thorough evaluation of a government's performance. To the opposite of what an authoritarianism is, China's fight against COVID-19 is not the utter suppression of personal freedom, but by citing the rule of law to keep the country in good socio-economic order. From where I see it, the Chinese government is properly functioning by putting people's livelihood at its top priority.